Hello there, running ears. It's Manny, and yeah, I have a lot to cover today. As a matter of fact, ever since I finished the Dopey to Dumbo challenge, even including the 5K, meeting you guys, I've been writing notes, and those notes have gotten longer and longer and longer, and I kept looking at social media. I kept getting feedback from you guys. Thank you very much for that. And it just kept getting longer and longer, and I kept thinking, if I wait, I'm going to be here for an hour talking. So guys, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to do the recap of everything that happened. Again, the good, the great, what can be worked on, and just give you an idea of what I went through. I actually already posted a short video, but it basically is a video in pictures, and it basically goes to the journey, because I was there since New Year's Eve, and so I was able to get there New Year's Eve. I was able to go Dopey, then go coast to coast, and then do Dumbo, and then come back home to the freezing cold, guys. But anyways, I just wanted to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I am wearing my friendship bracelet. I do have Figgy. Thank you very much, guys. So guys, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. We have gone over 1,000 subscribers. Guys, that's because of you guys. You guys, remember, this is your channel. The channel is here so that it gives you information, so you're better prepared. You can have recaps when you were running. I love the comments when people say, I saw myself. That's a good one. So that way you can tell people, hey, I'm on this video, and you can see me running. You can see what I'm going through. So it's a little bit something that helps you guys later on in life. Remember, guys, no matter what happens, what you're gonna take is these stories, these experiences. You can continue watching these videos, but until you experience them, it's something that's life-changing. Guys, continue letting it change your life, so that way you can become better and better, and continue being out there. No matter what you do, just continue being a better version of you. So this is what this channel is about. That's my way of saying thank you from the bottom of my heart. But please subscribe if you have not. Please comment down below your comments, especially when you reach out to me on social media, and even direct message. A lot of that stuff gets put into the videos. So without further ado, let's get to it. So no news so far, but news is going to be dropping very, very soon. So we just finished Dopey to Dumbo, especially Dumbo on the West Coast. But guess what? The Halloween half marathon weekend, it's going to be dropping. The information is going to be dropping very, very soon. I'm recording this video pretty early on a Thursday morning. I wouldn't doubt it if this afternoon or sometime next week. It's going to be coming soon, because registration for the Club Run Disney is going to be February 6th. For us mere mortals, it's the February 13th. So it's less than a month away. So we are going to be getting some information pretty soon. And guys, remember that Princess is a week later. So guys, we will be getting some information, like the digital event guide is going to be dropping soon. And then of course merch. But again, that would be in another couple weeks. But I see all this stuff coming soon. So if you guys are signed up, want to sign up for one, signed up for the other one, you got information that's coming pretty soon. And we'll cover it here on this channel. So first off, we're going to start with Walt Disney World, the runs there. And we're going to start off with the 5K. The 5K was cold. I started in the very back. I was actually the third of the last to start. There is no balloon, ladies. So I'll verify something that did happen in the back. The two guys that started behind me did get into like a really cordial, disagreement. It was like, you go ahead and start first. No, you go ahead and start first. I just went up to them and said, good luck, guys. We'll see you guys later. And I took off. But it was, to me, it was kind of funny. And then I read stuff online, people going like, I heard that, these guys were talking about who's going to start first, or who's going to start last, I should say. And that was true. But the thing that I loved is a bunch of kids are out there running. And guys, I love when kids get active. I've been a teacher before. So guys, kids being active to me is a huge, huge bonus. I've always said the 5K is the easiest one because it's not timed. If you're going to be testing Run Disney, this is a good one to do. There's not a lot of characters on the course, no matter where you're at. But you guys can take your time and just soak everything in. So this is the easiest one to get in. I enjoyed it. So now we get to the 10K. It was a quick little run also. This is when it was cold. It still wasn't, the weather wasn't getting that bad. Had a little run through the parks. We got to run through Epcot, got to see a little bit more characters. I started in the back again with the balloon, this time in front of the balloon ladies, and so it wasn't, to me, it wasn't that bad. That was, I always enjoy the 10Ks because they're pretty much not long runs, and to me they're kind of like almost a quick walk in the park, maybe quick walk jog in the park. But again, I liked it. Again, I saw a lot of younger people, doing their first run. I thought that was great, guys. But let's move on to the inaugural 7.1 half marathon. So guys, I know a lot of people were disappointed in that. I actually am on the side because I have been a race director and I understand that hard decisions have to be made. So guys, yes, it was not an easy decision for them, guys, and I can tell you that from experience. Sometimes you just have to make the hard decision. And the thing about it is, and if you guys didn't see any of my posts, just remember this: volunteers are getting less and less and less. They got a few more things this time from what I saw, but guys, they're vulnerable. They are out there with no coverage. They're not going to be able to get to safety quick enough. And once those thunderstorms started rolling in, if they get lightning, again, they're going to get hurt real bad or worse. And guys, everyone's going to feel real bad about if something happens to any of the volunteers, just for the fact that they really don't get anything and they're out there. And there was a lot more volunteers, which thank you guys for being volunteers. But guys, for their safety, for the cast member safety, for our safety, guys, they did that. And they even cut it a little bit shorter because it was coming a little bit quicker. And that was okay, guys. So guys, I try to turn everything into a positive. Think to yourself, in a couple of years, you are going to be bragging about how you ran the inaugural 7.1 half marathon at Disney. And that's going to be a cool thing. Again, you might be a little bit disappointed right now. You might be getting over it. But guys, in about a month or so, you're going to be over it. And then about a year or so, you're going to be going like, man, that was crazy. I still remember doing that. And so guys, it was the right call to make. So it was a hard call to make, but the right call to make, guys. But that was the half marathon, which again, we got rained on towards the end, but not a lot during the run. So now we come to the marathon, guys, and I called it the Splash Marathon because the comeback of Splash happened because I didn't see any rain in the forecast out of the blue about when we were getting into the when I was getting into the transportation center. It started raining on us, and so at that time I actually had to change my battery for my GoPro, so I had to go under an underpass to do so. When I came out, it was pouring. It was pretty much pouring. Now what made it interesting after that is because it stopped, but with the cooler weather, and it wasn't cold, it was just cool, that wind made it very cold. And so I'm glad that I had my long sleeve on. I actually put my gloves into my pocket when I brought them out. They were dry, so that helped me a lot. But guys, I could see how people were going like, man, it wasn't that fun. And of course, it's not fun running in wet socks. I always say wet shoes is one thing, wet socks is a different thing. So wet socks, and so, but we were able to overcome. After a while, guys, there's really nobody on the course that is stopping to take pictures because they're starting to get tired. They're getting longer into the marathon, and so they just sit there and go, you know what, I'm just gonna skip this picture. I'm gonna skip this picture. That's when I got all my pictures. And of course, my favorite was Handy Manny. I actually posted on social media. There's two Mannys. One is handy, the other is not. So guys, I had a blast. So we finished it off. When I finished it off, it was basically 45 miles. I think 44 miles. I had a blast. Now, I've always said this, and I'm going to say this, is getting to know you guys, even on the course. That was my highlight of my whole trip, guys, just getting to meet you guys. There was so many of you guys that I got to meet before, during the expo, all the way to the end of it, the end of the challenge. I thought that was great, guys. So now we're going to skip over because I went over to Disneyland and we ran the 5K over there. So let's go cover that. So the 5K at Disneyland was the first run back in 7 years, basically. It was more 6.5 or a little, actually it was close to 7, but it was more than 6.5, but not exactly 7, since we ran there. Now guys, we started in front of the castle, which if you didn't see the video, you didn't see the pictures, they're awesome, they're great. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Again, there's not a lot of characters, but we get to do almost purely parks. So it was really fun. I enjoyed it being back. The runners themselves had the more energy, so I love that aspect. The finish line, because there was so many people there, the spectators were there at California Adventure Park at the very end, so that was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, seeing that. Again, there was a lot of energy. So now we go to the 10K, and guys, I didn't say this, but it was basically cold throughout. So the starts of the runs were cold. It really didn't warm up a little bit in the half marathon, but we'll get to that. But the 10K, again, we ran within the parks. So that was actually cool. Not a lot of characters, guys. So that was the one thing that people got upset about. During the 5K, there was a stage and Bolt was there, so I got to see a picture with Bolt. We're going to get to something a little bit later for the half marathon. But the 10K, again, there's not the most characters. There was some unique characters having to do, because it was Donald Duck, so it was having to do with a lot of the Donald characters. So that was actually pretty cool. I liked starting on the streets. We started in the streets, we ran through the both parks, and then ended up in the parking lot for the 10K. So now the half marathon, we ran within the parks again. By mile marker 4.5, 5, we were out. We were running through downtown Anaheim. That's one of the things that I'll cover a little bit later. The streets were not the best of shape. So that's where you see the difference between Disney World and Disneyland. When you run Disney World and you're running out in the streets are actually paved pretty well. They're upkept, everything. And Anaheim, they're not. They're not upkept as much. And then, of course, there's not a lot of stuff that they can do. They had some tents with some musicians playing, and that was actually pretty cool. But besides that, they can't do too much. I didn't, they had the equivalent of the Blizzard Beach parking, so we went into where the Anaheim, the Mighty Ducks play, and the Anaheim Angels. They're right next to each other, so we ran through the parking lots there. But one of the mascots was out. The Mighty Ducks mascot was out when I passed by. If you watch the video, you can see it. I didn't dislike it, and the fact that there was a lot of people there, a lot of people on the streets there cheering us on. They brought the energy. I thought it was pretty good. Getting into the parking lot where we finished, there was still a lot of people there. So again, a lot of energy. We finished off. I thought it was great. There was one issue. We'll talk. I'll touch on it right now. They put water stations when we were exiting the California Adventure Park. That was at mile marker 3. I kept saying 4 online, but it was actually number 3, and it actually caused us to funnel in. We had to stop, and then we had to walk very slowly. People were even commenting, why did they make the balloon ladies stop at mile marker 3? It wasn't that they forced them to stop, it was that's what happened, so that everybody who was there fell behind the pace. So I could see that being an issue. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But guys, when I finished, I had done Dopey to Dumbo. I had done Coast to Coast. I felt so great. There was a lot of you guys who were sharing in the emotion, whether either doing it with me, being there side by side with me, doing only Dumbo or doing only Dopey. You guys accomplished a lot, and a lot of you guys just cheering us online or even there in person, guys, and it was greatly appreciated. Guys, again, the magic is you guys online, you guys live. It was just awesome. Great to meet you guys, the ones that I met, the ones who I've met before and met again. It's always great to see you guys, and so that is great. But now we're gonna move into what was good, what was great, and what needs to be worked on. So again, I'm gonna start off with the good. The expo to me at Walt Disney World was pretty good. From my understanding is the jacket sold out pretty quickly, but everything else seemed to there was enough stuff for people. As a matter of fact, I got my pass holder shirt, so I didn't get a lot there, but it seemed that there was, I went on the third day and it seemed there was a lot more things that you could buy on the third day, the fourth day, I'm sorry, it was because it's a 4th day. The fourth day that you can buy, and usually there's very, very little. There was people buying the signs like they usually do, but I thought it was pretty good. Overall, I thought the courses were very good. They're basically the same. The biggest difference, guys, was that we didn't have to walk that mile plus to get to the start this time. We started right by Epcot. So that was an added bonus. So that didn't add, especially during the half and especially the full marathon, when you got to walk out there after you've done the Dopey or even the Goofy and you're running. I mean, if you're just doing the marathon and all of a sudden you got to walk 1.2, I think it is 1.2, 1.3 miles just to get to the start. Guys, that was good that we didn't have to do that. I thought that was, actually, I could even say that was great. Another thing I thought that was good, and this is for Disney World, the characters. They went through decades. So they started at the beginning, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They kept rolling on. The one that once it got to the marathon, there was a lot of the 2000, 2010s, 2020 characters, which I'm not 100% familiar with. But it was great seeing them. I was looking at them going like, I wonder who they are, and I stopped to take a picture with a few of them, but again, I didn't 100% know who they were. I didn't have who they were. I didn't have that attachment to them. But again, it was good to see. It was good to see that they had other characters, so that way, you know, the next generation can sit there and go like, man, I want to do it and stuff. And that's great, guys. For us old timers who are used to Mickey and Minnie and so forth and so on, and some of the classic characters and stuff. This is a good thing, guys. Just remember, this is a good thing, because now we're including the newer generation, and now we're going to bring them in so they can run with us also. And of course, I'm going to go back and I'm going to circle around and say, I got to see Handy Manny, okay? Again, 2 Mannys, one is handy, the other is not. So now the great, I'm going to start off again at Disney World. The chance of doing Disney World and Disneyland within a week or within a week and a half, basically. That to me is great. It's not going to come back next year, and it was there for 3 years when we used to do the Disney World, and then we went over and did Star Wars, the light side, the following week. And so this is the 4th time I had done this. I thought this was great. This is fun. You're basically just in the magic the whole time. So I thought this was great. The other thing that I thought was great is we have Disneyland runs are back. And so it was great just to see that. Great the feeling of just seeing that back again for the first time in a long time, and the first time in forever. We were back. It felt real good to just be there and to see the excitement, to see Sleeping Beauty's castle. We started right in front of that. That was another great thing there. Again, running through the parks. That was awesome. That was great. They were lit up. They kept some of the Christmas decorations up, so we got to see some of those. Not a lot, but we got to see some of those. So that was another thing that was great. So another thing that was great was characters. There was some rare characters. Like I already said, Handy Manny. This is the 3rd time. But we got to see Remy. I got to see Bolt. Bolt was there. I got to see Jose Cuervo. There was a lot of different characters that were awesome. Jogging Captain Jack was on both coasts, so it was actually cool to interact with them. They actually had Captain Jack Sparrow for the marathon, but again, there is no replacing Jogging Captain Jack Sparrow. He's just awesome to be around. If you're around him, go say hi to him. He is so awesome. It was great to see him on both coasts. So another great thing was this is the first time I ran with a charity for the first time in a long time, and this was for the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. I did Dopey under the Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Got to meet a lot of amazing people. Guys, I really urge you, I did a whole video on this and I'm going to repeat it again. If you do fundraising for a charity, take the next step and ask to meet somebody. A lot of people do it because they do already know somebody who is affected by the disease. But guys, if you're not, you're just getting a bib, I urge you to take the next step and ask to meet families, maybe local, maybe when you're traveling and you're at Disney, but get to see the experience, the people who actually have to live with this disease. It is an eye-opening experience. It is an awesome experience. It is a humbling experience, guys. And guys, for my charity, we actually had a dinner at the Contemporary, which was awesome. We got to take pictures with Mickey and Minnie, so that was a cool thing. And so we got a pasta dinner. It was the night before the half marathon, so the night before the inaugural 7.1 half marathon. So that was pretty cool, guys. But guys, again, at meeting a lot of people there, again, was a great experience. It was a humbling experience, and it's an experience that I really would urge you guys to take. And besides doing the coast to coast, the great experience of doing the coast to coast within 11 days, basically, if you count the expo, I think it's 12 days, but just doing this is just interacting with you. I'm going to finish this off with the great interacting with you guys, meeting you guys at the expo, at the resorts, on the shuttles, on the course, just everywhere, just chit-chatting with you, hitting in. The one thing, the beauty to me about Run Disney is the stories that you guys have to tell. Some of them are awesome, guys. Keep sharing those stories with the overcoming of stuff. There's athletes with disabilities who have overcome a lot in their life. People who have just given every disadvantage throughout life and then are there. Guys, these are the stories that we have to continue sharing. These are the stories about overcoming, and it becomes about the greater good of people. And when you share, people now have hope, and then they show up, and then they go, I can do this, and then it helps them in every aspect of their life, guys. So meeting you guys, to me, was the number one great thing that happened over the weekend, and I kind of touched on it at the beginning. I'm going to touch on it in the middle, and I'll touch on it again because it's so awesome. You guys do not understand how much you changed my life on a regular basis. So when you guys come in and talk to me and say this is great meeting you and so forth and so on, you don't realize how much I get from that conversation. So guys, continue doing that. I loved interacting with you guys in all aspects. To me, that was the greatest thing about the weekend, and actually I should say both weekends. But now we're going to get to the things that we could probably work on a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm not going to talk about what we can do about weather, because weather is something that we cannot control. So guys, just get used to the fact that we run in Florida, mainly in Florida, not a lot in California, but that the weather can change at any time. So if this is going to happen, this is the stuff that's going to happen. I was there in 2017 when the half marathon was completely canceled. So guys, Disney usually will have a plan of action. They'll take care of us. But guys, it's for safety reasons. So again, this is not something that they had to work on. This is something that we have to work on ourselves to kind of adapt to the fact that this could happen. Okay, things that we can work on, or things that Disney can work on to make things a little bit better, things that they can change. Number one, I'm going to start with the Expo. The Expo, I think, is okay when it comes to a lot of different aspects. It's like the virtual queue. It's here to stay. We're going to get used to it. I give you tips on how to get there quicker. So, guys, hopefully that works. But, guys, the one thing that I think Disney can work on is having these things saying virtual right here and selling them to the virtual runners. That, I think, is one of the problems, and I have covered it before. If they do this, you're going to see a lot more stuff in stock by the second, the third, and the fourth day, possibly during a marathon weekend. But guys, if you're selling stuff to virtual runners, they are no longer having to buy stuff secondhand on eBay or the marketplace on Facebook or so forth or so on, or and people are always recording saying, what do you want, and stuff, and we've seen them before, guys. That's going to really slow them down. They're not going to be able to get that as quickly because they're going to have options. I don't blame virtual runners, because virtual runners are running also, and a lot of them have great imagination. They just can't make it out for whatever reason. So they're out there and they're running, they're taking their time, they're spending their money, and they want something to show for it. And so that's why they do that. But then also you have the runners that get there on the last day because they're just running the marathon. They get there and everything is sold out. The pins are gone, the mugs are gone, whatever it is gone. And all of a sudden they sit there going like, man, I wish I had a chance. And they probably would have had a chance had a lot of people not bought them and resold them to the virtual runners. So that's one thing that I think Disney can work on. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other coast, Disneyland. Guys, if you guys felt it, I felt it too. I saw it. I didn't comment online, but guys, the theme of the Disneyland half marathon weekend was disorganization. It was very, very obvious that they were very disorganized. From the expo, they didn't know where to line us up. They had trouble. There was miscommunication among cast members, where one cast member would send us to a certain place and another one would say, "What are you doing here? Go over here," and stuff, and it just went back and forth. It didn't even stop there. Once we got inside the expo, they didn't really understand where everything was going. It was very crowded. Then after a while, when we had to do the runs again, security was a little off. They were going one by one. And I kept looking at the line, getting longer and longer and longer. And I said, if this continues on, we're not starting on time. They finally adapted. Thank God they adapted. They were able to get us in a little bit quicker. That was for the 10K. Once we got to the half marathon, they were better. So that was great and stuff. But again, overall, this organization was probably the theme. The water stop at mile marker 3 for the half marathon. That was a clear example of disorganization that shouldn't be there. Now, this is the way I look at it. It's an opportunity to learn. It was very, very obvious. As a matter of fact, one cast member flat out told us, "We don't know what we're doing." They weren't told what to do. They were just called over, and so they were trying to do the best that they could with no information, no leadership, no nothing. So, guys. Again, this is not the cast member's fault. So leadership at Run Disney, I know you guys look at this video. Learning experience, guys. It's not the worst thing in the world. We were able to finish. Most people had an experience, hopefully a good one. So guys, this is what I'm going to say is just learn. We got another one coming up in September. My guess is it's going to be a lot better. It's going to run a lot smoother because they're going to learn. They're going to be able to sit there and fix things real quickly. The only thing I would have said is I would have brought in more people from the East Coast who have been doing it for a while. You know, don't get cheap right now. Just fly over a handful, maybe a couple handful of people, so that way they can help out and you could strategize a lot quicker. Because again, it seemed to be a little bit off with miscommunication. We'll get to a couple of other things that they got to work on, including athletes with disabilities pretty soon. We'll talk about that. But guys, what are your thoughts? I mean, any other thing that I missed? I know I'm going to miss a lot of stuff because this video, trying to make it as short as possible, and it's going to be long anyway. But anything that I missed about the disorganization, or did you think it was organized? Maybe you thought it was a lot more organized than I thought it was. But guys, comment down below. But let's go ahead and move on. So another thing was corrals didn't have waves. So that means they were a little bit more crowded when we started off. Again, this is one of the things that on the West Coast, it's harder to control for the simple reason that since we're running in downtown Anaheim, or in Anaheim, period, you know, they have to open up the streets again. So that's why they have to push us out a little bit faster. Again, I think maybe controlled waves, because since it was 5 minutes in between, maybe make it to where it's 2 waves and 2 minutes in between, 2.5 minutes in between. You're still going to get the people out within that period of time. But again, they do have to get people out just so they can open up the streets again. And another thing about the corrals is that the corrals in the back, I was in the back, E and F, I could not hear or see much of anything that was going on. There was a delay on Sunday. To this moment, I really don't know. I'm going to think it was because of the traffic that was out there. But guys, we didn't hear anything. All of a sudden, it was about 5 minutes till, and I could see in the distance that they left the stage. And when they left the stage, I knew something was wrong, because usually they're singing the national anthem by then. Well, they weren't singing the national anthem by then. But again, at Disneyland, they don't have the speakers, they don't have the TV screen, so we don't really know what's going on. So guys, maybe work on that. Guys, I myself, it doesn't 100% bother, but a lot of people who it's their first experience, and all of a sudden they're sitting there going like, yeah, I felt like I'm an outcast, and so that's not a good thing, Run Disney. So guys, make sure that you make sure that everybody feels like they're part of the magic the whole time. That is going to add to the overall magic. So pictures at Disneyland. Again, I'm gonna attribute this to 7 years of not being there. The PhotoPass people were not as great. They were catching people. I mean, I got a couple of good pictures, but a lot of the people that were, you know, friends of mine that I got to see their pictures, everything was off-centered. There was half the face. I was out-skied myself, which I'm very proud of. That was a really cool one. But anyways, besides that, I noticed that there wasn't the greatest quality of pictures. Again, I attribute it to 7 years of not being there. Hopefully practice will make them a lot better, guys. But I could tell that even the PhotoPass people were a little bit frustrated at what was going on. They were trying to get as many pictures as they could, and they were focusing on quality instead of quantity. Quantity instead of quality. And again, a lot of people complained about the PhotoPass. I can see that, and guys, again, I attribute it to 7 years. Hopefully it gets better. The next one is athletes with disabilities, guys. From what I read, from what I interacted with a few of you guys, they're still starting you guys a little bit further back. Again, I understand the cushion, and I agree with getting you guys the cushion. runDisney, I am a runner who agrees with giving them the cushion. I do understand the other side of the coin, which is a lot of people, and this is where I plead with you guys who are doing this. If you decide to run the Dopey, if you decide to run Dumbo Double Dare, if you get hurt a week before, okay, guys, go and talk to them, but guys, don't expect it, because they're athletes with disabilities actually train with disabilities. So you guys did not train, you guys got hurt either right before or during the run, and so it's a little bit different, guys. So guys, this is where they are trying to change things, because people are taking advantage of that. But guys, athletes with disabilities, again, train with the disability. They learn how to run or walk or whatever it is to transport themselves with this disability, guys. So guys, have some compassion and say, all right, I have run a whole half marathon on a popped hip, and it was a Star Wars, and I popped my hip during the 10K, and I was in a lot of pain, and I had to start in the back again, and I limped all the way over there. I did it. I took a bunch of Tylenol and stuff. But guys, my point is that don't take advantage of the situation. Say, hey, I got hurt, now I need to be in the front, because then all of a sudden, all these people do that. Now it's all of a sudden, hey, I stubbed my toe, now I need to be in the front. Hey, I have a headache. And that's where it crosses the line, and that's what Disney is trying to stop, guys. And so what you're doing is you're affecting the actual athletes with disability. Somebody actually told me this, and I agree with this. If you have, athletes with disability usually have some kind of information, a paper with information from their doctor that actually says this is what their disability is. I believe that you're going to have something like that in order to be an athlete with a disability and be able to start where you started before, guys. But I do believe our athletes with disabilities are what makes Disney magical. I think it's great when you see the athletes with disabilities and overcoming. I talked about it earlier. These stories are awesome, guys. So guys, don't take advantage of this situation. If you have to stop, that's part of the experience, guys. You got to, something happened, you had to stop, you had to overcome, you got swept, and then all of a sudden you come back next year, you have a plan, you overcome again. But that's part of the experience, guys. But again, I don't want to take it away from the athletes with disabilities. When it comes to, I understand both sides, but I'm on the side of the athletes with disabilities. Okay, so things we got to work on. We still got a couple of them. The next one is going to be the Track Shack. So all of a sudden they dropped everything. So no more texting, no more emailing, no more X, no more Facebook. Everything was gone. You had to get on the site. You put in your information and you were able to track your runner. I can see their point. They're trying to probably save a little bit of money so they don't, and even technology to try to get all that stuff coordinated and make it a little bit easier for people to track. But for us runners, I love getting the text so I can look at my phone at any time and say, okay, I'm at this pace and stuff. Now I have to actually open up the web page, the Track Shack, and see that. But I can also see the other side where if you're at home and a person wants to track you, they can just track you and they can track multiple runners. Again, is it something I wish they would come back to just even text? That would be the greatest thing that I think would happen. A lot of people liked X, which used to be Twitter. A lot of people like the other social media. I like the text, and so. But again, I think that Track Shack. Again, we got no warning. All of a sudden, that's the way it was. And so again, just communication. Let us know so that we were prepared. And the last thing that we got to work on, running etiquette, guys. And guys, I saw the arguments online. when I saw people there, it wasn't that bad. But once it got to online, the attacks happened, guys. I have to say this. I was running behind a Galloway pace group, and it got big to the point where they would walk. It was all the way across. And I want to say this. The Galloway pacer was screaming and yelling, saying, "Move to the right, let the runners go to the left." And they kept saying that, and people would not move. I got frustrated. So you watch it in my videos, you actually see this. I get frustrated and I start screaming, going like, "Runner on your left," and I hardly ever do that. And all of a sudden I was sitting there screaming this because I was clogged up, and so I was trying to get by them, guys. To be considerate of others. Remember this. This is like you're driving your vehicle. We would not drive this way. We would use our turn signals. We would look over our shoulders to make sure that there's clearing, but we still don't do it. One of the biggest things that I saw over and over and over again, people would just stop and then raise their hand. No, and actually running with Prince Eric, we would do this where we would raise our hand, and actually Prince Eric, I have to give him credit, would go 1, 2, 3, and then we would stop, and so, but we always moved to where there was clearing. If you look at the videos, I always try to move to where there's a clearing, so that way I don't impede anybody else's progress. And one of the main things that I saw happen quite a bit more this time was people running, stopping because they saw a character they wanted to, and then they turned and went right into the runner. It happened to me a couple of times, guys. And guys, this is wrong. This is your fault 100% when you turn around and you do this. There is a proper way of doing this. Again, looking over your shoulders, raising your hand, go to the clearing, find the clearing to go back. But guys, do not just turn into the runner. I saw a runner do that, then they got mad at the person that they ran into. They said, "Watch where you're going." It's your fault. You're the one who caused that problem there, guys. So guys, we need to work on this. Now, I attribute this to a bunch of new runners, guys. We had a bunch of new runners that are new to running. They're excited. They want to take the pictures and stuff. So this is where these videos, whenever I do the running etiquette videos, make sure that you share them with everybody. And guys, I'm going to try to move Disney to make a longer, instead of the 2 or 3 minute etiquette video and saying a couple of etiquette things, there's a lot more to running etiquette than just, raise your hand, move to the right, do this, do that and stuff. So guys, running etiquette to me was not the best overall, but again, I attribute to the fact that we have so many new runners. They're new to this, they're not understanding how to do it, but again, I think in time it's going to get better, and especially when we start sharing the knowledge. And one of the things that I have to say, guys, is when somebody points out that maybe you're not doing something right, do the internal thing where you look to yourself and go like, okay, did I really raise my hand or not raise my hand? Did I really not count to 3? Did I really not look over my shoulders and just stop and stuff? And start taking, you got to take responsibility for what you did and say, oh, this is a learning experience. Now I understand. The better the running etiquette, the more people are going to have fun. It's never going to be 100%, but again, and guys, I'm going to finish with this, guys. When I see people complaining about we were walking and these runners were going in between us and stuff, there's a reason why. The reason is because I did it before where there was walkers all across, so I couldn't find an opening, so I had to swerve in and out in order to get out of there. So just remember, when you complain that why did they have to do that, it's because we had to. There was no other way, because we didn't have a clearing on the left. There was walkers on the left, there was walkers on the right, there was walkers in the middle. We had to swerve. So guys, that's my thing on running etiquette. Again, I'm going to really, really buckle down and get some good videos about that. Now the last thing that I'm bummed about, very bummed about, is that all of a sudden a friend of the channel, thank you Jonathan for posting this or asking me, saying, did you see Dumbo during the Dumbo Double Dare? And I said, no, I passed by California Adventure in the back with Mike and Sully. They had the background and it basically said, Dumbo Double Dare was real cool. I recorded it. You guys can see it on the video. And then I see this. All of a sudden, Dumbo was there. And I was so bummed that I did not get to see Dumbo. And now I thought to myself, maybe I should have waited and stuff. But again, there was no telling when he was going to come out. And again, shortly after that is when we had that bottleneck. And so it was really hard. But man, I think that's one of the things that, again, Disney can work on, because they don't have the revolving characters. If you notice, once a character left, they were gonna be gone for a bit, then they were gonna come back. They didn't have the revolving characters, so that's one of the other things they could work on. But again, personally, why didn't I see Dumbo? I wish I could have seen Dumbo. It's not the worst thing in the world, but man, that would have been great. Now, I covered so much in this video. I mean, I went from New Year's Eve to Universal to the Expo to running Dopey to going coast to coast to running Dumbo to coming back home, getting some great mental pictures. But I'm gonna go back to the same thing, guys. I told you this at the beginning. I stopped in the middle, and I'm gonna say it again. Meeting you guys was the greatest thing. I made a collage of pictures, and a lot of you guys are included in there. If I'm not including in you, I'm sorry. I know I've missed a lot of stuff. That's why I don't like mentioning names, because I always feel bad that if I miss out on names and stuff. But guys, you know who you are. I interact with you guys online. I interact with you guys, seeing you. If for some reason or other you see me and please, guys, stop, talk to me and stuff. A lot of times, I will be in a hurry, but I will do my best to sit there and chit chat with you guys. But guys, you guys were the best part of this whole ordeal. 16 days I was out, and 16 days of fun. Just a lot of fun. I mean, a little hiccups here and there, but on the most part, I came back with a big smile on my face. I was so excited. I'm still interacting with you guys here. So guys, you guys made it so much fun. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for people who went out of their way to come and say hi to me, to buy me something, and thank you very much. It's never necessary, guys, but thank you so much. Thank you for the channel. This is your channel, guys. So guys, I'm sure I missed something. Guys, comment down below in case I missed something that you guys say, oh man, he didn't cover it. Maybe I can touch on it in another video. But guys, comment down below in case I missed something. Okay, this is probably the longest video I've ever recorded, just recording. So guys, without further ado, I know you guys have stuff to do, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am going to add, I put it up online, but I'm going to add it at the end of this video, is the collage of pictures. It's about 9 minutes, and it's collage of pictures of the whole journey that I took. So guys, if you want to watch it, if not, you can go and click on the original link, which is the video behind before this one. But guys, without further ado, create a magical day, create a magical run. Guys, see you sooner than later.